Hello, good afternoon. My name is Marco Batista, and today I'm going to run a webinar from a webinar series of our new offer called Governance.Business Start&Go. So, talking a little bit about our new solution. So, Governance.Business is an existing product from InnovaPrime, basically covering all that is to all the governance and strategy inside an organization. So all the processes, all the functionalities, okay, in an end-to-end perspective to manage your organization effectively in different flavors, in different processes and different functionalities that we offer in that product. So on top of that product, InnovaPrime has built a set of best practices that we call our offer Governance.Business Start&Go, based on those best practices, based on our product, okay, which essentially support, okay, the end-to-end management of your organization, making sure that we facilitate processes to support you in areas like strategic planning and execution, sales management, project and service portfolio management, and service management. So essentially, these webinars, so we are going to run a set of 3 webinars today, tomorrow, and on Thursday, mainly to focus on what Governance.Business Start&Go can offer you and your organization, and focusing on each of these areas. So also the solution, the Start&Go solution uses Governance.Business. So in the end, you will be using all the functionality, all the features that are available within the product. So nothing is really, so no functionality that we offer in the product is not able to be used inside the Start&Go solution, the Start&Go offering. So essentially all the users can use all the features that we will be describing later in this webinar. Okay. Additionally, you can always visit our website, our product website called Governance.Business, and you will find there all the information about our solution, all the information about the Start&Go offering, and also the possibility to go into a live demonstration that we have in there. Just try out the product, okay, with that live demonstration with different holes, something that we will show also during this webinar. So talking about the webinars, so we will be running, like I said, 3 webinars during the next days. So the first webinar will be today and will be focused on the strategy and sales part of the processes that we are offering within this Start&Go offering. Okay, so essentially we'll be focusing on strategic planning and execution. So how can I plan at an organization level, at a strategic level? How can I monitor that planning, okay, based on all the things that I'm doing to accomplish that plan? Okay, so all the initiatives that I'm launching, all the opportunities and leads that I'm managing from a sales perspective, all the projects, programs that I'm executing, all the assets that I'm maintaining, all the contracts and so on coming from the service management part that are also focusing on executing that strategy and that plan. So we'll be seeing all of that inside this webinar, and additionally we'll be focusing on how do I manage my sales pipeline. So essentially from account planning, from lead and opportunity management. So then tomorrow we'll be focusing mostly on the portfolio management perspective of the processes, okay, focusing on project, portfolio, and resources, giving you the vision on how we do idea management, manage initiatives, projects, programs, strategic assets, also looking at resource management, looking at task management, and also finally on terms of expense billing and control, so expenses and invoices that you can generate against each of the projects, programs, contracts, and so on that you have inside your solution. Then the third webinar will be all about service management. So all the processes that we have around this, focusing mainly on service and contract management, on the asset management capabilities of our solution, okay, and also on operations management, focusing on all the processes in terms of incident management, support requests, change requests, service level management, and so on. Okay, so talking a little bit about our product. So Governance.Business, which is basically the basis of this offer. And like I said in the beginning, you can use all the functionality that is available inside the solution, okay, on top of the processes that are being offered and that we will be describing during these webinars. So the solution itself, the platform itself, so Governance.Business offers you a lot of features, a lot of functionalities that you can use, okay, throughout the different roles, the different persons that will access it. So starting from a perspective of all the reports and dashboards that we offer, so the dashboard capabilities, which allows you to analyze any information throughout your organization, information on financials, on project execution, on strategic planning, on business plans, on resources. So any information that you have inside the solution, you can use the dashboard part to analyze it, to see it in a graphical mode, aggregate information as you would like to see it, and then drill down into the last details of that information. Aside from that report, that dashboard functionality, we also have the reports. The reports is something that allow you to extract a report in Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, Word format, so in several formats with information that you would like to get, okay? So this allows you to share that information with others through email. For example, you can also schedule those reports so they will execute in the background from time to time and send them automatically to different recipients, okay, throughout the email, or then make it available inside the solution to those users, okay? So in that case, you can use all of this reporting and dashboard functionality to make sure that the information is visible, that you can analyze and monitor everything that you are using and that you are executing, okay? Then the resource management capabilities, which allows you to do resource capacity planning. So understand the capacity of the resources, understand how the resources are being planned across the different units of work, projects, services, contracts, assets, all everywhere that the resource is being planned. Have all of that visibility. Then additionally, understand how that resource is really being used. So understand from the timesheets that we offer inside the solution that you can then have all of your resources submitting those timesheets, okay? And then upon approval, understand the real utilization of those resources on the different things that they are working on, okay? Then the other part is the project management perspective, okay, where you can plan and execute in a light way or a detailed way a project. So consisting of defining your team, planning your resources, defining all the financials, costs and benefits, defining your work activities, so all of your work plan, okay, which you can then import and export to Microsoft Project if you want to, with just a click of a button, okay. Also manage risks, scope changes, issues, also the status reports, baseline, so everything related to managing effectively a project, okay. Then the other part, the program management, so more strategic programs where you can aggregate different other programs inside that program, or then all the projects that are contributing to that program or initiatives that are contributing to that program, and have that, let's say, management perspective where you can define a strategic plan, a financial plan from the program perspective, and see then how that financials, how those costs and benefits are being really executed based on the planning that you have done at that level. And then always see that strategic perspective on the program, so all the timelines from all the projects, all the important milestones, financial milestones, and so on. See that and control that from the program perspective. Then additionally, we have the task management, which allows you to define and maintain a list of tasks where you are collaborating with other persons, like you have them in Teams, or you have it in Outlook, okay, or other platforms, where you basically have a simplistic list of tasks and you are collaborating with different persons, okay, different departments in those tasks to make them happen. Okay. Then the other part of financial management, which allows you to track costs and benefits throughout different timelines, okay, with different line items, so different financial lines across those plans, which allows you to plan financials at an organization level, at a strategic level, business goal level, for example, a portfolio level, programs, projects. So in many places across different processes that we offer in the solution. Aside from that, we also offer two other pieces which are very important, okay, in this ecosystem, which is the knowledge base, a full knowledge base that you can use across the different processes that you have inside the solution. So all the articles being categorized in different ways, with the opportunity to like, not like the article, to make it as a featured article that you want to share with different set of persons, making sure that only certain persons see a certain article. So you have full control on your knowledge base, and you can segment the knowledge that you have in there and who accesses that knowledge. Okay. Then the same thing in terms of document management. So document management, we have a full document management solution inside the platform, which offers you a document management for the organization, okay, where you have the possibility to define your own personal folders, then share all of those folders and documents with other persons, do version control, manage the permissions of who can see what and when, and also search inside the different documents. Aside from that, this document management part is also associated with any of the processes that we have inside the solution, which essentially allows you to track track in a hierarchy way with different folders and so on, all the documents from a project perspective, a program perspective, an initiative, an idea, a lead, an opportunity. So all the processes that we offer, okay, on this solution, on top of this solution, and of course, focusing mostly on the Cloud&Go that we are discussing in this webinar. So, taking all of these features and functionalities and these areas that we have inside the solution, okay, what we've done was create a map of processes that are interconnected amongst themselves, okay, in order to give you the possibility of managing, of managing the organization in an end-to-end perspective. So processes focusing on the strategy perspective, processes focusing on managing sales, or managing services from an operational perspective, or managing a portfolio, a strategic portfolio that you have in your organization, coming from the definition of ideas and initiatives up to the part of managing the execution of projects, programs, and also maintaining all your strategic assets and evaluate that in the overall portfolio. So the webinars themselves were built in terms of content to make sure that we address each of these processes, each of these areas in each of them. So today we are mainly focusing on the strategy part, so focusing on business plans, on our business goals, and also on the sales management part. So essentially business plans representing a plan that I have for a certain organization, okay, inside my my company, okay, where I'm going to plan all the costs that I'm foreseeing for the next couple of years, or next years that I want to plan, let's say, okay, and also all the benefits that in terms of that I'm planning to have on that organization. And then based on all of that planning, we will be able to see everything that we are doing from a sales perspective, if we are an organization focusing on that, okay, to accomplish that plan, everything that we are doing from an innovation perspective, an execution perspective, okay, in terms of ideas, initiatives that are contributing to that plan, all the programs, projects, and assets that are contributing to that plan from an execution perspective, or then even from a service management perspective, all the contracts and services and assets that are included in that organization, okay, and that are contributing to that plan that we are consuming, that we are spending costs, getting benefits, and so on. So controlling all of that from a strategic perspective of an organization, okay, and getting into the details if I want to. Okay, the same thing in terms of business goals. So business goals capture essentially the strategy, the strategic lines that I have from my organization, okay, where I define different strategic lines, and then I can also plan a certain budget to invest in those strategic lines for the next years, okay, and also in terms of benefits, what I want to have, okay, based on those strategic lines, so the benefits that I want to get, okay, from the investment that we are making. And then track all of that, so track all of those things that are contributing to that business goal, that are associated to that business goal from that strategic perspective, and then going into the details. So that's part of what I'm going to show you today in the solution itself, okay? The same thing in terms of sales management. So focusing on sales management, we are then going to see how can I control my customers, understand each of the things that I'm doing for my customer, eventually plan also from a financial planning what I want to achieve in that customer, possibly what kind of costs I want to invest in making sure that I get all of those benefits that I'm saying that I'm going to get, okay? Then also then manage all the leads, opportunities inside that customer, but also the most important thing is to make sure that from a customer perspective, so from a sales manager perspective, if I enter in a certain customer, I understand not only all the leads and opportunities that I have in that customer, but also importantly, all the execution that I'm doing inside that customer. So all the programs that I'm doing with that customer, all the projects that I'm doing with that customer, all the contracts that I have in place, all the services that I have in place. So having full knowledge and full visibility on everything that is happening on that customer, making sure that then if I can do more sales based on the things that I'm executing, or if I'm in a meeting with the customer and the customer asks for something, I have full knowledge of what that is, okay, of all the execution that is taking place, instead of having to ask A, B, and C inside the organization on how things are going. So that full visibility is very important to provide to that account manager, to that salesperson, so he can do his job properly, okay? Then tomorrow we'll be focusing mostly on the portfolio management, and then afterwards on the service management, which I'm going to then detail mostly tomorrow. So then it's time for demonstration, okay? So we will demonstrate, like I said, focusing on the strategy, so business plan and business goals, and then on the sales management part. So I will enter mostly with two different profiles in the solution. Like I said, this solution is also available in our website, okay? So if you go to Governance.Business and you follow through the part to a live demo, you will reach a screen which is exactly like this one, okay? Which provides essentially 4 towers in terms of functional areas, okay? Strategy and governance, sales management, portfolio management, and service management, which is also what we're going to address in these webinars. So today we'll be focusing on the strategy and governance, okay? And then we have different profiles, different roles that we can demonstrate, that we can use in order to use the solution within all its functionality, okay? So we essentially will be using mostly a C-level manager, so Abraham Alvarez, okay? So if we enter really with this user in the solution, so Governance.Business is fully web, so you won't need any type of plugin, you won't need any other type of software to access and use Governance.Business. So you can just use a web browser, in Edge, Firefox, Google Chrome, Safari, basically most of the browsers that are out there. It's something that we support. And also if you use your mobile phone, you can also access the solution and use the solution, because it will render, okay, the information based on the knowledge that is being rendered in a mobile phone, and it will offer basically different ways to use the functionality. So once you enter inside Governance.Business with a certain profile, so Abraham Alvarez, you'll be driven to a dashboard. A dashboard that shows important information for this whole, okay? In this case, being a C-level manager and focusing mainly on understanding all the business plans that I have, all the business goals that I have also in the organization. So I want to track them. I want to make sure that all of them are visible. So then throughout a set of dashboards, we'll be able to analyze all of that information, okay, and go into the different details inside each of the things that we are seeing. So in this case, just to run through a little bit of, let's say, UI, the user interface that we have in Governance.Business. So you have basically in here the main area, which is in this case that is showing the dashboard. Then you can access the menu that can be hidden, or that basically can pull it up and access the different things that your profile can access, different areas. So we have one thing here that is important, which is what we call the My Workspace, which allows a user to understand all the things that are pending his action. So all the processes that he needs to take a decision on, all the tasks that he needs to execute, okay, all the timesheets that he needs to approve, vacations that he also needs to approve or submit. So it gives you a full perspective, okay, with indicators of what needs to be accomplished by your whole, by your user, okay. And in this case, it guides you in order to make sure that you understand the most important things that you need to achieve, okay. Then the other thing is the open, where you can basically search for all the information, access the knowledge base, access the document management solution for the overall organization. If you have ability to analyze resources, all the information on resources, capacity, and so on, you can also see that. Or then focusing on each of the different areas, okay, where we have processes on. So the strategy part, okay, where we have different processes, the demand perspective on ideas and initiatives, the execution on the different parts, or then the service management part, okay, which allows you to see all the incidents, all the services, all how things in terms of the operations are being executed, okay, and also the sales management to focus on customers, partners, leads, and opportunities. So basically, it's a menu to guide you around all the functionality that we are offering inside these processes. But focusing on the processes themselves, okay. So when I look at the dashboard, the first thing that I see here is, for example, my business plans, okay. So all the business plans that we have created for each of the organizations, and then I can already see the planned costs that I have for this organization, so the Spanish organization. So what I have really already recognized, okay, already spent, the benefit that I have planned for this organization, and the actual benefit that was already recognized, okay, which basically from a planning factor gave me a planned ROI of 240K euros in this case, okay, and from an actual ROI, we are below the line. So essentially we are having a negative return of investment, which basically gives me the perspective that something is not really going like it should. So let's then drill down in this organization, okay, before doing that, just to give you also some other perspectives. So if we are an organization that is doing sales as well, one of the important things, okay, to show to the C-level is the understanding of what are our top customers, how much costs and benefits are they driving, what kind of return of investment are we having with each of them based on the different executions, different things that we are doing with them. So different projects, contracts, assets, and so on that we are running with them. So we can also go inside any of the customers and understand how those figures are being really came to life, okay, based on the different projects and so on. So we will do that also with the sales whole to make sure that we understand all of that information, okay, or then seeing all the costs and benefits, okay, throughout the different year, okay, so for this year, so understanding what we have in terms of all the initiatives, projects, programs, and so on that we are executing, okay, all the planned benefits that we have, and giving me a perspective of if everything goes according to plan, okay, how much benefit we are going to have in the end of the year, okay, and how the cost that we are going to have in the end of the year, okay. Of course, we are taking into account the planned costs and planned benefits, but then we see also from the business plan that from a planning perspective everything looked good, but then from an execution perspective we are in the red, okay. So going into a certain business plan, okay, so entering here in this Spanish business plan. So the first thing before going and analyzing all the information that we have on the business plan, we want to see the details of what we, once we create a business plan, what kind of information we need to create a business plan. So essentially telling that this business plan is for Spain, okay, who's the manager of this business plan, so the start date for the business plan and end date for the business plan, okay, which will basically drive all the cost planning, all the benefit planning, and all the window of analysis that we will see inside this business plan, okay. Then, based on all of this information and all of these start dates and end dates, so business plans is something that we can create easily, by the way, from the service catalog. And if we go into the strategic part, we can initiate a business plan easily, okay, and create a new business plan. Okay, I'm not showing all of this creation perspective because we wanted also to maintain these webinars a little bit short within the 1 hour time frame, okay, and there's lots of things to explore. So I'm going to show you already an existing one with all the information that is already there, okay. So then the other thing is planning all the financial costs and benefits for this business plan. So the different lines that I'm planning, so with the different costs, in this case, we only have here one line, but we could have multiple lines indicating costs in terms of resources, costs in terms of offices, costs in terms of external providers. So all the things that we would consider costs and track them in a detailed way and plan them throughout different months and years, okay, within this business plan, okay. So in this case, we see here 2019 already with an estimated cost of 1.8 and then a final cost, an actual cost of 1.6 million, okay, and 2020 we have still 1.8, okay, and we have already a cost of 708K. And then we have for the other years. So these actual costs can come directly from the different processes that we have in the solution, or you can also have that, okay, from your financial system, which has the the plan of record, okay, the financial plan of record of your organization, and then making sure that you have really the actual figures up to the last cent, okay, inside the solution, so you can understand all the costs as well, okay. Then also the same thing in terms of planning, in terms of benefits, so establishing a benefit plan of what I want to achieve, okay, within this organization for the next 5 years, so from 2019 to 2023, okay, 2023, okay. So having that understanding in terms of this is what I want to realize, okay. Then based on all of this information that we have planned in terms of costs and benefits, we will have all the other processes that are going to contribute to the execution of the things that we are planning inside this unit. So remember that from the details perspective, we have here the definition of the responsible unit that we are planning on. So it means that then passing to the analysis in terms of dashboards, so seeing all the overview in terms of our business plan, okay, what we are seeing here is everything that we have connected to the Spanish organization unit. So it means that I'm seeing all the opportunities, all the initiatives, all the projects, all the programs, all the assets, all the contracts that are attached, that are linked to the Spanish org unit. And then making sure that we can see the overall, that we can see, have an overview of everything that is really connected and how things are going. Okay, so in this case, this overview represents getting all of that information and showing, okay, the perspective of this is the business plan costs that we have planned on the financials, okay, and this is really the actual cost that I'm recognizing, seeing if I'm below the line, above the line, understanding if I'm really committing to each of the costs. And then if I want to have also a perspective of the operational cost, okay, I can also then have a perspective of all the initiatives, all the programs, all the projects, everything that is planned to be done or is being executed, okay, on the different months. I see that from this perspective, I won't be able to execute everything. So there are initiatives that are going to be left behind. If I want to understand everything that is here in this bar, okay, I just need to drill down and I can access all the information. So seeing that I have several initiatives here, I have different portfolio assets, I have different projects, okay? So we have 13 things here, and then we can access all the information and see everything from a financial perspective, okay, related to that bar. So we can have all of that monitoring in place, okay? Going back, the same thing in terms of the benefits, okay? Understanding from a business plan perspective, the benefits that we have planned, okay, that we want to realize based on the information that we have here. And then based on the planning of benefits that we have across the different projects, initiatives, and so on, we can see what kind of benefits we are planning throughout the different months, and most importantly, the benefits that we have already recognized. Okay, and then seeing all of that information, and if we want, we can just click it and see then everything that is related to that. If we also want to understand from a strategic perspective in terms of the scoring model that we have behind the initiatives, projects, assets, and so on, which we are going to see also in more detail tomorrow, then based on that scoring model, we will be able to show a scoring perspective, okay, of risk score of that project or initiative to the organization, and also the strategic value of that asset, project, program to the organization. And then we see here the different things that we have. So we have different assets in the organization, or we have different projects being executed towards the Spanish org unit, okay, or different opportunities in place, or different initiatives also in study, okay, which represent things that can be transformed into a project or a program based on its approval. Okay, so if we drill down, for example, here into this project, okay, we will then be able to go into this project in particular, understand everything related to the project itself. So all the details on the project, okay, the scoring model that I've shown you, which is that information is based on. So a scoring model based on a questionnaire, and in the end calculating scores in terms of strategic score and project risk score. So we can show that in that type of graphic, so we can monitor that, okay? Or then seeing all the resources that are involved, all the activity planned of this project. So see how things are going, all the tasks, all the milestones, okay? Making sure that we understand how things are really being executed, okay? Or then seeing risks, issues, scope changes, and so on. So this means that from a C-level, we basically came from a strategic perspective, and we were able to go into the full details, okay, of this project, or if we wanted to go in a certain initiative or a certain opportunity, we could always go into those details and understand all the information surrounding that, and not just that bubble that we saw on the business plan. So I'm just going to do here several backs, so get into different things. Okay, So it means that we've drilled down from this strategic level on the business plan, and we could go into the deepest details. Then also another perspective is to understand how am I using the resources in the organization based on the things that I'm planning and executing inside this org unit. Okay, so here gives me a perspective of all the capacity that I have to execute in the organization, okay, throughout the different months. And then we can see the forecast or the allocation of resources, okay, throughout the different periods in terms of hours, and see if it's below the capacity, above the capacity, and can drill down and access all the information of all the roles, all the users, everything that is, let's say, all the details on that graphic that we are seeing and analyzing all of those details. Okay, so in this case, like I said again, it's the same case, which showing the high level and giving the opportunity to the manager to see the details and analyze the details if they want to. Okay, to make sure that they can still see the high level, and if they feel comfortable, they just stay here, or then see the details just a click away. Okay. But like I said, this is the overview, but then we want to segment the information. We want to make sure that from a business plan perspective, I want to have a full understanding of what is demand that I'm originating. So everything from new initiatives that I have in the organization that are going to drive innovation and so on, or the execution that I'm doing. So all the projects, programs, contracts, and so on that I'm executing, or also from a sales perspective. If I'm a sales-driven organization, understanding the sales that I'm doing, so all my pipeline for this Spanish organization. So in that case, we then have different dashboards to show all of that information. So the first thing is the demand itself, where we are focusing mostly on all the initiatives that we have connected to this org unit. Okay. Seeing that from a regional perspective, for example, or seeing that from a value perspective, so risk versus strategic value, or seeing the resources that we will need in order to execute them throughout a different timeline, or not from a timeline perspective, but from a whole perspective, which roles we need to execute, or then even all the financial perspectives, so all the costs that we need to invest, okay, and all the benefits that we will get back based on the execution, okay, of those initiatives. So it gives basically a full high level of everything that I'm doing towards planning towards this Spanish org unit. Then we can also see the execution, so seeing all the assets that I have connected to this initiative. So go inside that asset, understand all the information on that asset. So all the information in terms of costs, in terms of benefits. Okay, so understanding all the details of the asset, what is the asset all about, the context, the asset details, the scoring model, okay, or then even the financials, costs and benefits plan for that asset throughout the different years. So having a full notion on everything that we have, okay, from this business plan perspective, okay, from an asset level. So assets being different asset types in terms of a generic asset, or then it's a product, a service, an application, or any type of asset that you might want to, okay? Or then any programs that we are running inside this organization, or all the projects that are being executed, okay, with full indicators on its execution, being able to drill down in any of them and understand all the details, okay? And the same thing in terms of all the contracts that we are running, okay? Contracts with customers, or contracts with internal contracts or providers, okay? Providing us services for a certain area, okay? So all of that is being managed throughout what we call the generic contract or a service contract that we will also cover, okay, in the service management part, okay? Then a perspective only for the things that are in execution, so projects, assets, and programs, okay? From a strategic value, risk value, from a resource usage, planning and usage, okay? And capacity plan, or looking at financial costs, planned costs and actual costs, financial benefits, planned and actuals. So seeing all of that perspective, controlling it all, making sure that everything is visible for the manager, that he can understand all the details if they want to, okay, giving them the high level perspective, but then giving the ability to go into the full details if they want to, okay. Then the last one is the sales part, which allows you to control all the sales that you are doing, that you are planning for this unit, okay. So in this case, all the leads per business line or all the opportunities per business line or opportunities per customer, or understanding the top opportunities that we have for each of these for the Spanish organization and for which customer they are connected to, and the value of the opportunity, the stage, the probability that we have, okay? And if we want to enter in that opportunity and understanding all the information surrounding that opportunity, okay? So all the monitor that on a dashboard, or then seeing the full details of the opportunity. So understanding all the bits and pieces of this, okay? Also understanding everything in terms of which possible costs will we have, okay, by executing this opportunity, or benefits that we will have, or resources that we will need in order to execute. So understanding all the information so we can understand fully what we are managing and what is contributing to the plan that we have established, and being able to control. And eventually, if we find anything that we would like more information, in any of the processes, we have what we call the message center, which allows us to create either sending emails from the platform, or alerts or comments, work notes, okay, in each of the processes, so we can highlight, okay, to the manager of that process, or to the state, or to the members that are working on that, okay, to highlight something, to ask something, and to basically generate here that conversation, that messaging, okay, inside the solution, being all the information kept inside the solution, okay. So coming back to our business plan, so one of the things that I said in the beginning is that we can plan from an organization level, which is this plan that I've shown you, or we can also plan from a strategic perspective, which is essentially from what we call business goals. So if you go then to portfolio management strategy business goals, you'll be able to find all the business goals that are currently defined in this demo environment, okay? And then seeing, for example, this one, develop the offering of the future, entering that business goal, seeing also the details first of the business goal is very similar to the way that we are managing the business plans, but in this case, it's managing a certain strategy or a strategic line, okay, for the organization. So it's across the different organizations, okay. So in this case, we also plan a certain cost, okay. So in this case, we mostly use planned values, because we aren't attaching actual values directly into the strategy. They are being rolled up based on the execution. So all the projects, all the programs, all the assets, so everything that we are executing towards this strategic line. Okay, so here we are planning all the costs that we that we will invest, okay, if we want two different lines, okay, or all the benefits that we will invest, okay, that we want to recognize, okay, from this investment, and then monitoring all of that. So first, in an overview, understanding the capacity that I have to invest, and then everything that I'm doing, okay, that I'm connecting to this investment. So all the initiatives, projects, and so on, and all already the actual values that we are recognizing, so the actual figures. Okay, the same thing here in terms of benefit analysis, allows you to see all the information, and then seeing all the benefits that are really planned, and if they are above the line, below the line of what we want to achieve, okay, or then seeing a risk versus strategic score, okay, or resource capacity versus location. So the kind of information, okay, that we are managing and that we are seeing, okay, is mostly the same type that you see on the business plan, okay, but in this case, it's cross organizations because it's for a certain strategic line, Okay, so it allows you to plan in different ways if you would like to. So if you don't want to plan on an organization level, you can also always plan from this business line perspective, the strategic line perspective. Or then if you want to plan at the portfolio level, like we were going to see tomorrow, you can also plan at that level. So we offer different types of planning, okay, that you can use in order to establish the plans at those levels, and then seeing how the execution, okay, will come into play, will come into all of those. And here, the same thing, seeing the demands, all the initiatives that we are running through for this strategic line, okay, or all the executions, everything that we are executing towards this strategic line. So all the programs that are contributing to it, projects, assets. So making sure that we track all of that, that we show all of that information and monitor that accordingly. Okay. So then we are going to go to another profile. So from a strategic perspective, this is what I wanted to show you, cover the business plan and how can I establish a business plan, and then seeing everything related to that business plan and how can I monitor all of those things, okay, from a C-level management perspective, okay, and also the same thing from a strategic line perspective, making sure that we can see the strategic line, so what we call business goals, to address all the strategy that we are defining, all the costs that we are putting in there, all the investment and the benefits that we are trying to recognize, and then seeing how we are executing towards that. Okay, now we are going to the second part, okay, which we will which we have shown a little bit already, okay, for certain processes, but we are going to dive a little bit deeper, okay, which is the sales management part. Okay, for the sales management part, we will use a different profile. Okay, so if we go back here on the different profiles that we can use, okay, we go here to the tower of sales management. We have still two of them. Okay, the one that we've used on the C-level management perspective, okay, or then from a sales manager, so understanding from a salesperson what kind of information I see, what kind of things do I do in the solution. Okay, so if we enter as a salesperson, what is going to see is a little bit different from what you had from a business manager perspective, so a C-level perspective. So here I'm focusing more on understanding my sales pipeline. So understanding all the leads that I have for a certain business line, or all the opportunities that I have for a certain business line with the value of each of the business lines already shown. So for example, I see here that I have opportunities of 779K euros in service management. If I want to understand them all, I can just drill down and understand all of those opportunities, the status of those opportunities, the customers that are involved, the probabilities, the value themselves. Okay, so understand all of that information and go dive into and dive deeper into that. Okay, or then understand mostly, instead of business lines, see the same type of information, but then aggregated per customer, understanding the customers where we have more opportunities and those opportunities representing the most money. Okay, so we can then see here in a type of graphic, of this line graph and the bar chart graph, okay, all of that information. Okay, or then from a sales funnel, so seeing the probabilities, things that are marked already with the 90% of probability, okay, what kind of value do we have in there, or then the other ones, so things that we are starting to work on, things that we are developing, things that are really in hard development, which come close to an end, and then basically everything that we are possibly in a final stage of sales, of the sales cycle, okay. Then the opportunities themselves, so a list of all the top opportunities that we have, okay, from an opportunity value perspective, okay, seeing all of that information. So making sure that we track all of that information in the main dashboard of this salesperson and show that to him, okay. He can also initiate any lead, any opportunity easily in the solution. So if I want to initiate a lead or an opportunity, okay, I can go to the service catalog. Okay, and in here, I can go to the sales, and start a new lead. Okay, and then starting a new lead, informing information like the region, the responsible unit, who's going to lead the, who's going to manage this lead. Okay, the customer that is connected to this lead. Okay, and then based on this information, we will have then a life cycle. Okay, for the lead itself. Okay, so I'm going to show for some of these leads. So that's also important. So imagine this lead over here. Okay. So after creation of the lead itself, we will see then all the information that was put in by the lead manager, in this case, Adrian Schutz, the user that we are connected with, okay? And this is basically for this customer max hire, okay? With the customer contacts, the partner contacts that are also involved, okay? And then we can also understand all the actions, okay, that we have established in order to develop further this lead. Okay, so for example, we've put a set of actions, okay, of developing an account plan, scheduling a meeting with the customer, scheduling a meeting with the partner, okay, on these dates. So we understand the kind of actions that we are doing, if we have accomplished them or not, okay, how they are going to play within the different things in this lead. And then if I want to see fully all the actions that I have across the different leads and across the different things, okay, connected to me, to my person, okay, I can see that easily in a calendar-like part, which basically shows me everything, okay, from a monthly perspective, okay, everything that I have in July. So I have here one call client, okay, I have in June different ones, which I see that we've created them all from a demo perspective in the same day. Okay, so you see here all the things that we've basically all the actions that we have, okay, and all the things that we have. So let's track this to possibly May. Okay, I see that this is shown everything on the same type of day. Okay, so in this case, call client, if I want to understand what action is this, so I can just click it, okay, and I'll go directly to this action, which is call client, okay, under this opportunity, right? Okay, which is basically this opportunity that is connected to with all the details, and then I can see the action that I have to take here as well. Okay, so we can always see everything and basically navigate throughout the different places and understand everything that we are managing. But most importantly, so because we are already hearing this opportunity, let me then show you the different things that we have on the opportunity itself, okay? So the lead itself has a certain cycle, okay, which will allow you to track the lead up to a certain point, okay? And once you pass from a prospect to really an opportunity, then you will initiate this opportunity flow. So I'm going to show you that lead perspective that we were in, okay, and in the other tab, I have the opportunity. So in this lead part, we have here the actions, we have the details, and we have a process, okay, which allows you to track the whole life cycle, indicating on who is responsible to do that of this lead. And we see that right now we have the lead in review. Currently it's in a prospect. If this advances further, we want to possibly transform then this lead into an opportunity, which basically we are going to detail further. Okay, so this is all done through the workflow, using your workflow, capturing the process that we want to enforce, okay, with the different stages, and then taking different actions based on that, on where we are in the process. So we are in the prospect phases. We can either close it, we can close it and create an opportunity automatically, or we can review it saying, okay, this is not really a prospect. This is something that you still need to assess really what it is. Okay, if you from this stage initiate then an opportunity, you'll then go to the opportunity part, okay, where we have more details, that all the details from the leads will be created automatically here in the opportunity. So we will have all the information in here, okay? But then we have a different life cycle, which basically allows you to understand the opportunity management life cycle in terms of value proposition. Then we are in proposal and quote. Okay, if we win the proposal and quote, we can create a project automatically, or we can put things on hold, or we can just say, no, this is already incorporated in a running project or contract or program, and then I just want to close it. So basically, this allows you to use fully the process in your favor to enforce the different stages that you would like for your opportunity management. So in this case, all of these steps, making sure that the right persons will take the decisions and move the process further. Okay. Also understanding on who has done what and where, so full auditing details, okay, being these audits or having the audit log that we have, which audits all the fields, all the information that you have changed throughout the different time frame, okay, and then on the opportunity itself, track the team that is working on the opportunity, who's really driving this. If we are spending more effort than just the sales, pre-sales, if we have a full team in here, that implies an extra cost in developing the opportunity. Also, if we want to track really financials on the sales cycle, so understanding all the financial costs or even benefits that I'm having by running this sales cycle, okay, or then define the business case, so define the future project or program or contract that I will have in the future as an outcome of this opportunity, and then define the financial costs. Okay, so the cost perspective of if I need to execute this, what am I talking about? Okay, the benefits that I will get from executing this initiative, or then the resources that we will need in order to execute. So understanding the resource profiles that you'll need to execute. So understanding fully everything that I need, okay, in order to do this. And also all the documentation. So all the documents that you have throughout this opportunity, you can then use the document management that we have in place, organize them in different folders. So create a new folder called analysis, okay, and then another one called work in progress, for example, and then have all the structure that you would like to have, and then having all the documents inside that structure. So uploading all the files into here, making sure that then everything is tracked from a version perspective. It's tracked, you have the possibility then to do all the searching capability. So having sure that all the things are maintained in one unique place and not across different systems and different solutions inside the organization. Okay, so that's a very important perspective. So the other perspective that I would like you to show is, aside from managing the leads and opportunities across the life cycle and taking all the necessary actions and so on throughout the different workflows, okay, the other thing is giving you the possibility from a sales perspective to understand everything that is being done in a certain customer, okay? So in this case, I'm going to just search for a customer because I know that that customer has something in there. So better salon. So I've went here through customers and then search it. I could also use this search here on top, okay? It's a global search, searching on all the environments based on my access for certain strings. Okay, it's very useful to search for anything, okay? But if I enter then here in this customer, what I will be able to see is all the costs of the executions and the opportunities that I have throughout this customer, throughout the different months, the actual costs of the possible execution as well that we are already doing, okay? Also the same things in terms of the benefits, planned benefits that we have across different opportunities, connected opportunities and projects and programs connected to this customer, okay, and the actual recognition. Then a summarization of that for the last 3 years, in this case only for 2020, okay. So in 2020, we are getting an actual ROI of 29K for this customer. Then analyzing that information. So one thing is the details of the customer, capturing all the details of this customer, the VAT, region, account manager, so the addresses and everything, so to make sure that we understand who the customer is, okay? And then understanding from this customer all the pipeline that I have for the customer. So all the leads, all the opportunities, okay, the sales funnel and so on, okay, and also everything that we are delivering inside this customer. So all the running contracts, generic or service, and all the projects that we are running inside this customer, and all the financials. And then if I want to go into that project and understand all the details. So essentially we offer, okay, as a summary, okay, we offer the strategic planning perspective from an organization or a strategic line or a portfolio, as we are going to see tomorrow, okay, and then from this sales management perspective, this managing the pipeline. So we offer you the possibility of planning at the customer level, monitoring the customer execution based on the different leads, opportunities, projects, contracts that are being executed within the context of this customer. Also tracking then all the leads in terms of its life cycle, all the opportunities in terms of its life cycle until they are transformed into, for example, from an opportunity, you can transform it into a project, a program, a contract, to make sure that then you pass from the part that we've won the opportunity and we want to start its execution, okay? And then you can track it all. And you can then understand how that opportunity was born, from if it was born from a lead, if it was already an opportunity, and then if you are running a project, a contract, or a service, if that came from a certain opportunity. So you have full visibility on the overall life cycle to make sure that you can track all the information that you can track and have all of those details in place. So this is what I wanted to show in this webinar. So very high level perspective. Okay, I didn't go into the full details, navigating and creating a lead or an opportunity, because that's something that if you'd like to have all of those interactions, feel free to go to our website, to the live demo, and just take all of those actions. So it's there for also that purpose, so you can try it out. Here, I'm basically trying to get this into a 1 hour time frame and show you in a very high level the processes that we have in place, how they interact, the kind of information that you can see, how you can navigate, and how you can control and plan accordingly. So I hope that you've enjoyed this webinar, that it provides you benefits for you and for your organization. And I just want to thank you all for attending, and hopefully I can see you all tomorrow in the second webinar in terms of portfolio management, running projects, running initiatives, running assets, planning your portfolio, monitoring your portfolio execution, okay? And then on Thursday on the service management part. So thank you very much for attending, and I'll see you tomorrow.